Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as the 2022 Kavod recipients enter the sanctuary. And please remain standing for O Canada and Atikva, performed by Sophie Brownsing and Aviva Polevoy, and accompanied by Tatiana Smolyanov on piano. Thank you. Thank you, Sophie, Aviva, and Tatiana. Please be seated. Wow. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים ביחד. How wonderful it is for all of us to be here together, sisters and brothers, members of the Jewish community in Winnipeg, celebrating together at the 2022 Kavod Evening. So welcome everybody once again. Bruchim Habayim. My name is Gustavo Zettner, and I'm the president of the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg and your MC for this evening. It is so wonderful to see all of you here in person and to welcome those who are joining us virtually. I would like to acknowledge that we're gathered on the ancestral land of Treaty 1 territory. The Red River Valley is also birthplace of the Métis. We, the community, recognizes the historical fact emphasized by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada, the national inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, and as acknowledged by the Government of Canada, that the Canadian government and various religious and secular organizations that predate the country perpetuated a genocide against the Indigenous peoples, and those elements of that genocide continue to be present today. We, the Jewish community, affirm that our commitment to never forget must also include confronting attempts to destroy Indigenous culture and the nationhood and condemning attempts to deny that historical reality. We are very thankful to have such a great turnout for this very special evening, as we pay tribute to such wonderful volunteers, leaders who make a huge difference within our community. This year, we are pleased to be celebrating awards recipients for the year 2020 and 2022. As the representative body of the Jewish community in Winnipeg, it is the Federation's mandate to build and sustain a strong, secured, and connected community rooted in Jewish values. It is hard to believe, but it has been 3 years since the last Kavod Evening took place. Looking back at that time, it was a time of optimism and stability. Our beneficiary agencies were in good financial standing. Our campaign was on track to raise a record amount. The community was prospering. Then, in March of 2020, just as we were planning our Kavod Evening, our world and yours changed seemingly overnight and threatened to derail all that we have built together. Despite COVID, our community did what Jewish people do when times get tough. We banded together, demonstrating our tenacity and perseverance. I am immensely proud of the way that our community came together and helped one another in unprecedented ways. Our beneficiary agencies adapted to the new environment exceedingly well and helped each other out wherever and whenever it was needed, without a question. And they endured despite the operational duress and financial vulnerability they experienced. They were together, as we are together here tonight. But I wanted to address the realities of what convenes us today. As we emerge from the pandemic, we do so as a community galvanized and strengthened, which is what makes tonight's event even more special. Us coming together as a community to celebrate the livelihood of what keeps us community going, our esteemed leaders and volunteers. What is your federation doing today? Looking inwards, we're looking at governance and the way in which we conduct our business. We're committed to professionalizing our staff within Federation and helping every other Jewish organization in Manitoba. We're committed to youth engagement by providing education, support, training against BDS everywhere our youth are connected today, both formally and informally. We recognize Israel, we recognize Zionut, and we're back leading Federation missions as early as in the fall of 2022. This is who we are, and our connection to Israel takes no second place to any other effort in our community. Outwards, we're reaching across other communities, other faith-based organizations. We're talking and carrying the Jewish message, and we want other communities to feel our support. We're leading efforts in Asvara, explaining and telling our story, deeply rooted in our pride in the State of Israel. Intercommunal activities are important for us. We're holding government accountable specifically in times where anti-Semitism is on the rise. We're supporting our organizations from external and internal threats at the same time. We're committed to being open and engaging. We recognize and are driven by Jewish values. We celebrate equality, we highlight diversity, and we lead by example in our inclusion, represented by at our board, and hoping and helping other organizations in Winnipeg do the same. As a board chair, we're committed to supporting every committee of the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg and partnering with every Jewish organization in Winnipeg, whether or not they're beneficiaries of the CJA, the Combined Jewish Appeal. But finally, today, what did we do for you, for the community, and for Manitoba? I am extremely humbled to report that today, a historic day in Manitoba, both for the community and for the community at large. The government of Manitoba has passed unanimously Bill 240. That bill represents and celebrates Jewish Heritage Month. And it was a great honor today to be at the Manitoba Legislative Building, accompanied by the Premier of Manitoba, Heather Stephenson, several ministers and MLAs, and the leading organizations in our community, those that are part of the formal and informal education system, anywhere from our youth to our more established organizations, including our foundations, celebrating the Jewish community's contribution to Manitoba. That's what we did today. My challenge for you, what are we going to do tomorrow? So as soon as we're done tonight, please shake a hand, meet with somebody you haven't seen in a long time, and make sure you tell us at Federation what else should we be doing for you. I would like to call upon Dr. Gary Hyman, President of Congregation Shaarei Tzedek, who will bring greetings on behalf of Shaarei Tzedek congregation. You can take this.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gary Hyman, and as President of the Board of Congregation Shaarei Tzedek, I have the honor and privilege of welcoming you all to our synagogue to celebrate our community's volunteers. We are so proud and grateful to host the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg's annual Kavod Evening, and we join the Federation in celebrating the achievements and contributions made by all of tonight's honorees, both to the Jewish community and beyond. The motto of the Federation's Kavod Evening is that volunteers make a difference, and the truth of this motto cannot be overstated. The Jewish community is blessed with a variety of professional, welfare, educational, religious, and other institutions that serve the needs of our diverse and thriving community. Yet we are all equally blessed to have the professional leadership, staff, and volunteerism that grows, sustains, and operates these same institutions. After all, without exceptional volunteers such as yourself, where would we be? So to all of you, a heartfelt congratulations is in order. You should all be very proud and inspired to continue doing the work and services that you already do for our Jewish community. Your dedication to service, going above and beyond with your time and efforts, your generosity, and the fruits of your labors are an example and inspiration to others who we are certain will follow in your footsteps for generations to come. I thank you for your work and commitment, and I know I speak not only for Congregation Shaarei Tzedek, but for all of us here and every institution, agency, and otherwise that you have served. When I wish you all Mazel Tov for all your endeavors. A Mazel Tov again, and may you go from strength to strength. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hyman. I would like to express our gratitude to Royal Bank of Canada, RBC, who have been our generous supporters for the Kavod Evening for over 10 years. We are grateful to have representatives from RBC who are with us this evening. Chris White, Regional Vice President of Winnipeg Market, Holly Tupin, Regional Vice President, Financial Planning, and Nicole Drysdale, Vice President for Commercial Financial Services. I would also like to recognize the volunteers from RBC who are helping with tonight's event. Ofer Tzidon, Shari Mann, Luis Sorto, and Catherine Sorton. It is now my pleasure to invite Chris White, the Regional Vice President of RBC, to bring greetings.
What an amazing community. Incredible. I'm honestly humbled to be here, absolutely humbled. And so good evening. We at RBC are honored to be part of this evening's celebrations of volunteers, community leaders, and those generous spirits who bring light to our community. These golden souls shine brightly while creating deep footprints for others to follow. This is a shared value and responsibility that runs deep among Winnipeg's Jewish communities, with no shortage of admired award recipients year after year. And I think it says a great deal about a community who comes together to shine a light on those who give their time, their hearts back to those who surround them. In that same spirit, we at RBC give gratitude to the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg for bringing us all together tonight. We are grateful to the organizing committee for the gift of your time and your tireless efforts in making this event happen. And we celebrate the nominees and award recipients this evening and in years past for choosing to elevate others in the community and for making Winnipeg a better place. And we want to thank each of you for choosing to be here this evening to shine your own light on these community champions so that we all may honor their example. This evening I'm joined by my colleagues, Nicole Drysdale and Holly Tupin, and we could not imagine being in a better spot than we are today, right here with all of you. So thank you all and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, RBC. I would now like to welcome past President Laura Malkin, President of the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg a couple of presidencies ago, to the Vima to make a presentation to Joel Laser, our immediate past President of the Federation.
Thank you, Gustavo. Is my lipstick smushed? It's like inside here. First time wearing lipstick in a long time. First of all, I would like to congratulate all of this evening's honorees. It is fantastic to see everyone here. When I first asked Joel if he would consider being vice president when I was going to be president, he said no. He said, I hate public speaking, I don't like meetings, I don't want to be president. And I said, well, think about it, Joel. Anyhow, he thought about it, and luckily for the Jewish community, he agreed to be president. He did say, would I consider doing the emceeing of large events, because he really didn't want to do it. And I said, okay, sure. That was part of the deal. So Joel became president in December of 2019, and his very first event was going to be the Holocaust Remembrance Service at the legislature. He did not ask me to chair it. He said he would be okay with it. Well, COVID hit. So for the entire 2 years of Joel's presidency, there was not one public event. Every single meeting from March on was by Zoom. And in my history with Federation, Joel had the fastest and shortest meetings of anybody throughout the history of Federation. Now, he did bring greetings many times through Zoom, not only locally, but nationally as well, and he did a great job. And as Gustavo mentioned, during that time, Joel was instrumental in keeping the Jewish community together. Not only did he have regular meetings with the Federation's beneficiary agencies, but he met with the synagogues, with the rabbis, and with their presidents. He met with organizations that are not part of the Federation. And he ensured that anybody who needed help during the pandemic got the help they needed. As typical of Winnipeg, money poured in when we had a COVID emergency fund, and he made sure that everything went the way it would in regular times. So on behalf of the Jewish community, I am delighted to honor Joel tonight. He did a fantastic job, and to thank him for keeping the community together. Please join me in thanking him.
Mazal Tov, Joel. Thank you, Laurel. I would now like to welcome Adam Levine, Compare Chair, to the Vima. On March 31st, we concluded the annual campaign of the Combined Jewish Appeal with a record number, 6,201,200. Of course, without great leadership, none of this could be achieved. A huge thank you, a personal thank you, to Adam Levine, campaign chair, and his team, top donor chair Carrie Schenkaro, Women's Philanthropy co-chairs Paula Parks and Gayla Goodman, Lion of Judah Committee, Mara Levine, Mary Vicker, and Jessica Kraut, and Ben Gurion Society co-chairs Michael and Ellie Silver for their guidance, their perseverance in helping us surpass our campaign goals. We could not have achieved this goal without Adam's strong leadership. Thank you to the hundreds of canvassers as well as our donors. Without you, all of you, this could not be possible. I would be remiss if I did not thank the Federation's campaign team lead, Rebecca Brask, Graciela Najenson, Linda Levesque, Evelyn Olovitz, and Sam Slachak. On a personal note, it wasn't long ago when Adam called me to say, can we meet for coffee? And I said, only if it's at home so I can make an espresso for both of us. And it was clear to me at that time, when you took over as president, that there was going to be a change in the air. And that change was reflected not only by your leadership through campaign, but in every aspect of Jewish community. At every meeting that we went, together or on your behalf, there was a grace and an understanding that we were all on this together, and that the Combined Jewish Appeal is a fundamental portion of the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg. So Adam, please accept this token of appreciation for all of what you've done, and I don't want to tell you what you'll do next, so I'll keep it a secret. The first mistake that I found on the speech is that nobody cared to thank Marla Levine for putting up with what it means to be First Lady and then a companion or a campaign chair. So Marla, thank you on behalf of the entire community. Tonight, we celebrate volunteer leaders who make an inedible impact on our community in so many positive ways. Our Federation has amazing volunteers who work throughout the year to better our community, our lives. We have highly committed board and executives, as well as numerous committee members. Under the guidance of our volunteer department chairs, we have seen excellent success in many areas. I would like to mention them by name. Our allocations chairs, Marcelo Aprosov, community planning chaired by Carol Dubov, education and engagement chaired by Ilana Schultz, finance treasurer chaired by Ellie Silver, Israel and Overseas, chaired by Jessica Kogan, Next Generation Initiatives, chaired by Brian Hack, and Public Affairs and Advocacy, chaired by Jason Gesser. I would also like to give my special thanks to Neil Dubov, Federation's Honorary Counsel, for his leadership, wisdom, and continuous advice. I would be remiss if I did not mention our board members. We could not accomplish what we do without all of your help, and I'm proud to report our commitment to diversity and inclusion every step of the way. The Kavod Evening is our way of thanking the exceptional leaders who make our community what it is today. Kavod is the Hebrew word for honor and respect. To give kavod is to give attention and respect to someone who is a good citizen, a role model for the rest of the community. This evening honorees most certainly embody these qualities. We are pleased to announce that starting this year, we're starting a new tradition. We have established funds at the Jewish Foundation of Manitoba in the Federation Endowment, Live More Than Memories, in each of the recipients' names. For those who have a fund, we will add it to it. And for those who don't, funds have been started in your name. So it is our hope that you, your family, your friends, will add to your fund over time. Having a strong Jewish Foundation of Manitoba is good business for all of us. We begin this year's Kavod presentation with the 2020 award winners. I need to highlight that many of the people that will come up today will be recognized for the work they've done within the Jewish community. But in my recent meetings with many of our top leaders and the wise people in our community, we focus also on the time, effort, and commitment of our Jewish leaders and the work they do outside the Jewish world. For we are all one and the same, and for we are all one and together. And strengthening the entire community, the entire province, and the country of Canada is also paramount for the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg. The major community awards were established in 1995 to honor those exceptional community leaders whose service over the course of many years had bettered the community and provided a model for excellence and achievement. The Saul Caney Distinguished Community Service Medal is synonymous of philanthropy, leadership, and vision, and is awarded for the outstanding, dedicated leadership and service to the Jewish community, locally, nationally, and internationally, over the course of many years. It is the highest honor that our community bestows upon an individual, as the recipient's activities reflect positively on the entire community. The Caney Medal, engraved with the name of the winner, is mounted on an original sculpture and sun-carved glass that has designed specifically for this occasion. The 2020 recipient is David Gesser, and I am pleased to call upon Sharon Allentuck, past recipient of this coveted award, to present the Caney Distinguished Community Service Medal to David. Sharon, please.
Thank you, Gustavo. Oops. Well, good evening. I'll put my glasses on so I can. Okay. The name of Saul Caney is one that is synonymous with altruistic commitment to service, to community, and to the individual well-being. Saul's passion and dedication to our community was truly inspiring and set an example for all of us to follow. It is therefore with great pleasure that I introduce you to David Gesser, the 2020 recipient of the Saul Caney Distinguished Community Service Medal. Like Saul, David came from a generation that got involved early in life with community service and development. Saul said that his greatest achievement and effect was derived from service to both the Jewish and general community, and David has approached his endeavors with the same philosophy throughout his lifetime of distinguished service of local, national, and international levels. David has demonstrated tremendous leadership and committed service to the Winnipeg Jewish community for 40 years. The son of the late cantor Solomon Gesser of Montreal, David was instilled with deep understanding of the key Judaic principles of charity, tzedakah, and good deeds, mitzvot. Upon his arrival in Winnipeg in 1980, he immediately began volunteering with the Winnipeg Jewish community as a member of the board of the Jewish Child and Family Services. At the same time, in the 1980s, David began his annual contributions to the Combined Jewish Appeal and became a canvasser for the CJA, a role which he continues to hold on an annual basis. Having grown up in a synagogue, David also recognized the important role of synagogues in strong, thriving Jewish communities, and therefore dedicated himself to serving Congregation Shara Zedek in multiple leadership roles for nearly a decade. David served on the synagogue's Board of Management from 1991 to 1999 and became president in 1997. Over the last 20 years, David has been deeply involved with the Adas Yeshurim Herzliya congregation. David has helped organize programs for the synagogue and on a regular basis leads weekday Shabbat and holiday services. He also has taken a leadership role in fundraising for the synagogue over the years. In 2002, David became a member of the Jewish Federation's Winnipeg Board of Directors. a position which he held for 15 years. During this time, David held leadership positions, including chair of the Federation's Community Planning Committee. As chair of the Community Planning Committee, David also served on the Federation's Executive Committee and was a member of the Federation's Audit Committee. David's service to the Jewish community was not limited to the Winnipeg Jewish community. While on the Federation's Board of Directors, from 2005 to 2008, David served as a member of a federal cross-cultural roundtable on security under the auspices of the Department of Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness, Canada, and the Department of Justice, Canada. David was had a very strong voice for the Canadian Jewish community while in this role, advocating for additional security measures and funding for the Jewish communities across Canada, the results of which we continue to see in our community, whether it be federal funding for enhanced security protection in our Jewish community institutions, or federal funding for additional police protection at our synagogues during the High Holy Days. During the time on the Federation's Board of Directors, David also took leadership roles in the areas of kashrut and Holocaust education and awareness, areas which he continues to work on even after 4 decades of dedicated leadership and service to the Jewish community on local and national level. In 2009, David co-chaired the Saul Caney Lectures hosted by the Jewish Heritage Center of Western Canada. David continues to work with the Jewish Heritage Center as a member of the Holocaust Education Committee. He also continues to serve as a member of the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg's Kashrut Committee and Community Planning Committee. He has served the Winnipeg Jewish community in local, national capacities. He has taken numerous leadership roles, whether they be president of Congregation Zedeck or chair of the Federation's Community Planning Committee. Finally, the activity on the federal cross-cultural roundtable on security is reflected in security enhancements for the Jewish community across Canada. Over 40 years of dedicated service, David has proven to be an outstanding member of the Jewish community. Members of the Winnipeg Jewish community know David as someone who they can always depend on. He is regularly called on to lead Shiva services at homes of family and friends and acquaintances, and puts great effort into assuring that there is always a minyan for fellow Herzliya congregants to observe Yahrzeit. On certain occasions, David has even stepped in to teach bar mitzvah lessons or officiate at funerals when clergy is not available. David's 40 years of service to the Jewish community clearly demonstrates why he is this year's recipient of the Saul Caney Distinguished Community Service Medal. He is a fixture in the Jewish community. He is a man of character and kindness and compassion, and can always be relied upon to do what is right and is responsible. In other words, he is a mensch in the truest sense of the word. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to call upon David Gesser to receive the Saul Caney Distinguished Community Service Medal.
I was afraid I was going to drop it. First of all, I want to thank Sharon for that all too generous introduction and remarks. I especially appreciate it given the fact that I know Sharon going back a long, long time through our associations at the at the synagogue here at the Sharet Tzedek. But beyond that, and as I've told her many times, I remember very fondly her late father, Ben Raber, who was a fixture as the leader of the minyan here in the shul. And it was during that time that I started probably going more often after my mother had passed away. And he was always such a constant presence and a comforting presence to everyone who knew him. So again, Sharon, thank you very much. And mazel tov to you on all the wonderful things that you have done with your family here in the Jewish community of Winnipeg. You can hear me, everybody? Okay, all right. I want to first take the opportunity to extend hearty congratulations and mazel tov to all of the honorees for the valuable contributions that you have made to the Winnipeg Jewish community through the various organizations with which you have been associated. Federation President Gustavo Zentner, Sharet Tzedek President Dr. Gary Hyman, fellow honorees, dear friends. I want to thank the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg for hosting tonight's ceremonies. I am, of course, very honored to receive an award associated with the late Saul Caney, a true giant of the Jewish community. Even though I did not grow up in Winnipeg, the name Saul Caney was very well known and respected within the Canadian Jewish community, and the legacy of his contributions will not be forgotten. I realize that many deserving honorees of this award have preceded me, so it is a humbling honor to join their ranks. Whatever and however I have contributed to our community, I think the will to do so arises largely because of examples that were set for me in my youth and subsequent years. In particular, and I think Sharon alluded to this a little bit, I'm thinking of my family. My late father, Cantor Solomon Gesser, Zichrono Livracha, was the Chazan of the Shar Zayin congregation in Montreal, one of the largest and most influential synagogues in the Montreal Jewish community. My father was in every respect a true leader of his community, going well beyond being the Shliach Tzibur of his congregation. He was a constant participant and contributor to so many major events and initiatives, concerts and otherwise, for such organizations as Jewish National Fund, Parrott School, Israel Bonds, just to name a few, let alone the myriad events staged in his own shul. Together with my late mother, Anna Gesser, Aleha Shalom, they formed a formidable team who understood and appreciated, particularly in light of their being Holocaust survivors, the importance of the Kihila, the community. And so they gave unendingly of their time to do so. Against that familial background, when I arrived in Winnipeg some 42 years ago, for a job that I thought might keep me here for just a couple of years, you know the saying, a Mensch tracht und Gott lacht, person plans and God laughs. So I thought I decided that that there was a need on my part to contribute to my newly acquired community in various ways. I know of no better way to honor the legacy of my parents in doing so, as we say, midor ledor, from generation to generation. And what gives me great pleasure is to see that my children, Jason and Meira, who are here in the front row, are continuing a tradition of getting involved in the community. Perhaps this too is because of the example set by their parents. And I am thinking now as well of my wife, Frida Steele, Justice Frida Steele. She doesn't always make me call her Justice Steele at home, but you know, on occasion. And I want to note her many contributions in leadership positions in the community with Board of Jewish Education, Jewish Foundation of Manitoba, and other organizations. And it is my hope that this tradition continues with the generation of our new grandson as well. This is the way we hope to ensure the perpetuation of community leadership. And I know that many of us here tonight feel the pride of seeing newer generations of our families contribute to the betterment of the Winnipeg Jewish community. While we take the opportunity on occasions like this to recognize contributions to the well-being of the community, let us remember that it is not for the sake of reward that we do so. As we read in the Pirkei Avot, the ethics of the fathers, Al tihiyu kavadim hamshamshin et harav al manat lekabel pras, ela heyu kavadim hamshamshin et harav shelo al manat lekabel pras.
Be not like servants who serve their master for the sake of receiving a reward. Instead, be like servants who serve their master not for the sake of receiving a reward. We participate in this community because we know that this must be so if we are to remain strong and united. And we want future generations to contribute and go forward in this very vital path. And for those wondering if there perhaps is maybe some sort of payback for this, let me remind you that the traditional Shabbat Shacharit service concludes with a special prayer, the Yakum Purkan. Written largely in Aramaic, it honors those who undertake the difficult responsibilities of community leadership. The third paragraph, however, is written in Hebrew and honors community services in these words. Those who are faithfully involved in the needs of the community, the Holy One shall pay their reward. May we therefore all be blessed with the privilege, desire, strength, and commitment to continue to do good works in the service of our Jewish community. Thank you very much.
David, on behalf of the Board of Governors of the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg, on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg, Mazel Tov, congratulations on this most deserving recognition of your leadership and just the kind of mensch you are. The Max and Molly Shore Memorial Award recognizes an individual who has demonstrated commitment to the principles and goals of the Federation and has distinguished themselves through the long-term leadership and dedication to the combined Jewish appeal. The award, an original design, is of a glass tzedakah box. The recipient of the Shore Award for 2020 is Murray Paley. Unfortunately, Murray is not able to join us this evening and has graciously accepted for the proceedings to continue without his presence here tonight. We will meet with Murray at a later date to present him with this award. To present the Max and Molly Shore Memorial Award are their great-granddaughters, Stephanie and Emmy Kalo. Please join us on Bima.
Good evening, everyone. Our names are Stephanie and Emily Kalo, and it's our privilege to present the Maximally Shore Memorial Award, named in honor of our great-grandparents, Max and Molly. Since its establishment, this award has recognized some truly incredible individuals who exemplify the qualities of our great-grandparents through their generous philanthropic giving and their commitment to our community. It is an honor to present the award and their legacy each year.
After nearly 2 years spent apart, it is mine and Emily's great pleasure to award the 2020 Max and Molly Shore Memorial Award to Mr. Murray Paley in absentia. This award could not be given to a more deserving individual. Murray has been a canvasser for the Jewish Federation for over 20 years, served as co-chair of the Top Donors Division, was a member of the Financial Resource Development, and was a founding member of Grow Winnipeg, the Foundation's immigration initiative. Since 2017, Murray has been a top donor for the Federation and is a significant contributor to the Jewish Foundation of Manitoba. Murray's involvement with community organizations is considerable. He has been involved with the Canadian Friends of Hebrew University for over 40 years, president of the Winnipeg chapter, and was the first person west of Toronto to be the chair of the National Board of the Canadian Friends of Hebrew University in 2013. In 2019, Murray was appointed an honorary fellow of Hebrew U and was the 1999 recipient of the Harry Silverberg Young Leadership of Distinction Award.
Murray's support has extended beyond the Jewish community to other organizations in the general community, such as United Way and the Canadian Museum for Human Rights. Professionally, Murray practiced in the areas of tax, corporate, and security law for 15 years with Buckwald Asper Hentlef, now Pip Lado. In 1993, Murray left the practice of law and consulted to Loring Ward Investment Council, which went public in 1998 as Asante Corporation. After CI Financial acquired Asante in 2003, Murray was responsible for establishing the Wealth Planning Group at Asante and the International Division in Bermuda. In 2005, Murray founded the Quadrant Asset Management with Michael Gesser, where he is currently Executive Chair and Portfolio Manager and Chair and President of Gift Pact Foundation.
And believe it or not, this introduction only scratches the surface. We are extremely proud of the initiatives that Mr. Paley has led and are certain that there are more great things to come from him. It is our pleasure to award the 2020 Maximally Shore Memorial Award to Mr. Murray Paley.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Stephanie. Murray, we will present this to you at a later date. Mazel tov. The Young Leadership Awards were established to recognize outstanding individuals between the ages of 25 and 45 for dedication and achievement in the Jewish community, for their performance in the general community, and potential for providing future leadership in our community. These recipients demonstrate an extraordinary degree of service and commitment. Our Young Leadership Awards winners will receive a beautiful etched glass sculpture and a subsidy towards participation in one of North America's premier leadership experiences, the Annual General Assembly of the Jewish Federations of North America. These awards played a fundamental role in shaping the future leaders of our community. I remember being in a government mission in Mexico in 2005 when then President of Federation Howard Maury called me to discuss a position for me at the executive. I took that opportunity to serve and to give back to this community that had welcomed me only a few years prior. I had an opportunity to serve and learn from highly talented presidents of the Federation, which have left an undeniable mark on my community career. I wish to acknowledge past President Dr. Ian Goldstein for presenting me with a Young Leadership Award in 2005, and more importantly, I wish to recognize the many award winners of these awards that have continued their career and commitment to serving the Jewish community in Winnipeg. The Harry Silverberg Young Leader of Distinction Award recognizes an individual who has demonstrated outstanding service and leadership in support of activities of the Federation, or who shows potential for future leadership. I would like to invite my friend Josh Blatt to present this year's award to Elvira Molachevitsky.
Hello. It's nice to be together. This is my first event post-COVID with everyone, so thank you for everyone for attending. I'd also like to congratulate all the participants, nominees, and award winners. My name is Josh Blatt, and it's my privilege to present the Harry Silverberg Young Leader of Distinction Award in honor of the late Harry Silverberg. Harry was one of Winnipeg's most noteworthy and trusted philanthropists, and he benefited our community in so many ways. It is with great pleasure that I introduce you to the 2020 recipient, Vira Malakovsky. After moving to Winnipeg roughly 8 years ago, Elvira began volunteering in the community at the Jewish Child and Family Services through their Bakar Shalom program, and made many meaningful connections and formed many relationships. Since then, she has volunteered throughout the community and helped launch the Shabbat at Home initiative. As a PJ Library parent, she quickly saw the value of the program and became the PJ Library co-chair at the Federation, where she saw many families and like hers connect with their roots and strengthen their ties to the community. Using her knowledge as a Reiki master and holistic healer, she has volunteered at the Gray Academy of Jewish Education to teach children mindfulness, meditation, and also at the Jewish Child and Family Services, giving positivity and lifestyle speeches to the elderly, both in person and virtually. It is my great pleasure to call upon and congratulate and thank Elvira Malakovsky for the worthy recipient of the award and everything she does to make our community better. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. As a newcomer to this community and to this country back in 2016, missing my loving grandparents brought me the desire and the need to connect with the elderly in the community. Back in the days, the elderly were the wisest and the respected people of the tribes. Unfortunately, nowadays, they are the most vulnerable part of the society. And I spent more time with my elderly friends. Then I realized that in order to have a united and blooming community and society, we have to focus on the kids too. PG Library gave the welcoming hug to my kids, to my children in the community. And I quickly decided to take part and contribute my time in the committee. This is how it all started. My time is limited here, so I cannot list all the programs and organizations that touched my heart, and I gave my time and love back. It's a great honor to be chosen for this major award and feel appreciated by the community. I'm thanking everyone who is a part of this decision and everyone who knows me and guided me personally. However, it's only my name on this beautiful award. This is not only my achievement. It's an achievement absolutely of the family who raised me this way and the universe that guides me every day. And I want to thank them in their own language. Это прямой результат бесконечных бесед, объяснений, что доброта и любовь к окружающим важнее других материалистических качеств. И это заслуга моей мамы и моего отца. Это премия вдохновления лидерства и желания лучшего всего, что я вижу вокруг, добротой и с умом, которую с детства мне показали примером мои бабушка и дедушка. זה ההישג של האהבה, רוחב הלב, הנתינה, שהחדיר בי בדוגמה אישית דימה בעלי היקר. בשבילי הוא הרוח הגבית, שתמיד מפעיל אותי לבחור בטוב. ולפעמים הוא מפרש מתוח, שחובק את כל עוצמותיי וכוחותיי, ומניע אותי לפעולה. ולפעמים, כמו היום, אתה העוגן, שעוצר אותי מלנוע לכיוון לא רצוי בזמן סערה. And the sweetest last, it's an award for my cheerleading team, Sean, Liam, and Rihanna, with their naive child views as they see the world a better place and believe in love and miracles as much as their mothers does. And as I have limited speech time, I'll do what I'll do best. I'll guide you for gratitude practice. And I want to welcome all of you to close your eyes and count your blessings. Focus on your heart and send the feeling of gratitude for your life. Focus on being grateful for sitting here right now, today, being alive. Take a deep breath and just say thank you. As for the future of our community, this is a say in Hebrew that I will quote, עם שאינו יודע את עברו, ההווה שלו דל, ועתידו לוט בערפל. We should always remember and learn the lessons and go forward. As I spoke in 3 languages that I'm fluent at, I know that many of you did not understand everything I said, and I'm sorry about that. Love and light. Thank you.
Thank you, Elvira. Mazal Tov. The Max Nathanson Young Leadership Award is presented to an individual who has demonstrated outstanding service and leadership in support of the activities of the Federation and who is between the ages of 25 and 45. I would like to invite Jason Gesser to please present the 2020 award to Daniel Sprints.
Thank you, Gustavo, and good evening. It's so nice to see everyone and finally be able to celebrate so many wonderful contributions to the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg. And of course, congratulations to my father, David. I'm always proud to be the son of David Gesser and extraordinarily lucky to have such an incredible role model in my life. So congratulations on the Saul Caney Medal. Now, this evening I've been asked to present the 2020 Max Nathanson Young Leadership Award, which is awarded to recognize an individual who's demonstrated outstanding service and leadership in support of the activities of the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg. I am honored to present this award to my good friend, Daniel Sprints. Dan is an exceptional Jewish communal professional whose name has become synonymous with Camp Masad due to the lasting positive impact he's made on the camp as its executive director since 2011. I first met Dan in 1999 when he was my counselor during my first summer at Camp Masad. What was immediately apparent was Dan's passion for Masad and his commitment to doing everything he could to provide everyone with a memorable summer camp experience. His passion was infectious, and soon I too fell in love with Masad and spent the next 4 summers there, 2 as a counselor. Dan is heading into an incredible 26th summer at Masad, his 12th as executive director, and under his leadership, the camp has enjoyed increased registration, as well as an unprecedented $1 million capital campaign. More recently, Dan has expertly guided Masad through a turbulent 2 summers impacted by the pandemic, pivoting to day camps and summer cabin rentals when normal Masad programs were not allowed to run. Masad has transformed under Dan's leadership with a new swimming pool, cabins, washrooms, and landscaping, just to name a few major improvements, plus innovative programming and an increase in camperships, ensuring everyone has an opportunity to experience the magic that is Machane Masad. However, Dan's leadership in the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg is not limited to the grounds of Machane Masad. Dan's fingerprints over more than 2 decades can be found in the development of so many programs of both Federation and its beneficiary partners, including Rady JCC, Birthright, PJ Library, Grey Academy, as well as BBYO and Hillel, both of which he previously served as director. Among my many memorable experiences with Dan over the past 23 years was working with him on the development of programming for the Federation's Yad Winnipeg program for the 25 to 45 demographic, now known as Genesis WPG. Dan also serves on the board of the Manitoba Camping Association and has assisted with its accreditation subcommittee. Dan is a mensch and a loyal friend who is always there for you. He's constantly thinking about how he can improve Masad, the Jewish Federation, and the lives of his fellow Jewish community members. His commitment to the Winnipeg Jewish community is only exceeded by his devotion to his wife Rebecca and 2 children, Sage and Cole. It gives me great pleasure to present the 2020 Max Nathanson Young Leadership Award to Daniel Sprints.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Jason. I wouldn't have rather had anybody else present to me than you. You're a mentor of mine and a hero of mine for a very long time. Before I get started, I just wanted to say that there's a few people here tonight that unfortunately have passed away over the last year. And I just wanted to mention Marcelo Lubaki, a mentor of mine, the president of the Camp Masad board, and a hero of mine throughout the year. I've learned so much from him, and I dedicate the rest of the time I spend at Masad to making sure that I can improve the facilities and the campsite for him and for his family and my own. Every Jewish person has their own unique Jewish story. Although my story is unique, there are many people who have had an active role in shaping my character that are very familiar, I'm sure, to all of you here today. I'm so fortunate to have grown up in Winnipeg and to have had the wonderful experience of being influenced by some of the most amazing and prolific mentors around. My Jewish journey began at a very young age and was influenced and guided by young Jewish professionals from Talmud Torah, Eyal Peretz Folk School. I remember falling in love with my teachers in Hebrew and singing there. I remember learning from Carol Lesh about mitzvot and kindness. I remember how she warmingly cared and gave me extra love. I carry her lessons when I share the lessons learned from her. I remember Mrs. Paritsky. I remember her teaching me about Kabbalat Shabbat. I can still, if I imagine deeply, I can still imagine her lighting the Shabbat candles in our classroom in the building on Nathanson. She connected us to our culture and our language, and her passion for children was unmatched. I learned from her. I remember her. I remember Mrs. Kimmelman, honored here tonight, who is here with us, teaching me about proper behavior, helping me with my social skills, and keeping me learning, interested, and involved. Even after I was long done school, I could always rely on their wisdom and advice anytime I saw them in public. Pleasure to see Mrs. Kimmelman here. I remember learning for my bar mitzvah from Cantor Dane. I remember his passion for teaching the Torah. I remember how he made me passionate about my singing, and he made it easy for me to learn my part by recording it himself on a cassette tape. I'm sure lots of you had those and still have them at home. His love and passion for his work and for the youth of this community helped me light my love of community. I remember his voice at services, his passion, his emotion. It all made me want to explore my Judaism. As I got older, I began to spend meaningful summers at Camp Masad. At Machane Masad, I was introduced to immersive Hebrew and a new crop of young mentors that would shape me and others into youth leaders, prolific leaders like Stuart Slane, Jason Morantz, Jason Tapper, Susie Tapper, Sean Filko. They helped build my light. I was also exposed to powerful Jewish women like Gveret B., Leona Bilenkov, Sophie Tapper, Linda Bloomfield, Leslie Jacob, Laurel Malkin, Ivy Kopstein. They were my summer mothers, my summer emas. They taught me how to behave, how to learn, how to be diplomatic. Speaking of emas, my mom is watching at home right now on the live stream. My mom made sure to provide my brother and I with every ability to lead meaningful Jewish lives by signing us up for all of the Jewish activities that the community had to offer. Her unconditional support and love of Jewish culture and holidays always reminded us of who we were and that we were proud to be Jewish. My brother and I were two peas in a pod, and I'm thankful to have had a mentor like him. Everyone's family, if you can imagine your own family, has one member of the family that keeps us all together. For my family, it's my great auntie Nori, Lenore Kagan. She was always there to host traditional Pesach Seder, Shabbat dinners, and was always sure to host for all of the Jewish holidays and simchas, bringing my family together. She inspires me to do the same for my family as we go forward in life. This award wouldn't have been possible without the participation and the permission of my own family to walk along in this endeavor. My wife Rebecca and my children have been supportive. My family has been supportive of everything. Her parents have watched my kids when I was busy working with camp and have really made my life experience fantastic. All the people I mentioned and all the people that I haven't mentioned have shaped all of our lives here in Winnipeg. Tonight, we're here to celebrate the volunteers of the community, and I'd like to say mazel tov to all the award recipients. You are shaping the future today with your mentorship. I would also like to thank Elaine for her mentorship and for everything that the Jewish Federation and its staff do for the community. We are so happy that our community is in your extremely capable hands. Thank you.
Daniel, mazel tov, congratulations. Kol Kavod to you and your family. The Larry Heartick Jewish Communal Professional Award. Larry, Zichrono Livracha of blessed memory, was an exceptional individual whose volunteer career in the Jewish community was legendary. His impact as a role model and lay leader for Jewish professionals in Winnipeg was profound. I still remember when Larry invited me to his office on Portage Avenue to discuss my potential interest in a leadership role in the community. And of course, in a very gentle way, he invited me to contribute to the CJA campaign. And that had a very important lesson within that meeting. It wasn't about the gift, he said. It was about counting you in. That stuck with me ever since. Thank you, Larry. Jack Hardy, Larry's son, will present the award for the 2020 Outstanding Community Professional Award, Israel Binun.
Good evening. My father, Larry, was a role model and leader for many people, including his family, colleagues in business, and for numerous volunteers in both the Jewish and general community. In addition to his extensive work with organizations within the broader community, he worked tirelessly for many of the institutions within our Jewish community. He was passionate about his work and extremely proud of our community and its many accomplishments. He was thrilled to be a part of so many of them. To honor my father's memory, we established the Larry Heartick Memorial Jewish Communal Professional Award. We wanted to recognize an outstanding professional working in the community of Winnipeg other than serving for a minimum of 5 years. Nominees must have demonstrated vision, leadership, professionalism, and serve as role models themselves. It is therefore with great pleasure that I introduce to you Israel Binun. If you've ever walked up and down the promenade at campus, there is a strong chance you've seen Israel screwing around with one of the many daily projects he's responsible for. Since the campus's establishment, Israel has tended to the campus's facilities with love and care, as if it was his own home. In a way, he is tending to our collective home, the home and heart of our community. Israel was born in Israel and lived on kibbutz Mishkavam. Growing up on the kibbutz taught him what it takes to be an active member of a community. Soon after arriving in Winnipeg in 1990, he joined the Jewish community through synagogue and YMHA activities. In May of 1997, he was hired to work at the newly established Asper Jewish Community Campus. His job description has evolved through almost 24 years and for the past 16 as the building maintenance manager. Israel's responsibilities have included oversight of many of the technical and mechanical aspects of the campus while attending to the requirements of campus's many organizations. In Israel's role as an employee of the campus and as a community volunteer, he has been involved in so many that plan and produce numerous events, including Yom HaAtzmaut, Folklorama, and Limud. Over the past 30 years, Israel has volunteered with Camp Masad, BB Camp, Rady JCC, Sherazenic Synagogue, and JCFS. We cannot be happier than to present this award to Israel, a man who has devoted his career to our community, who has demonstrated vision, leadership, professionalism, and served as a role model for so many of us. It is with great pleasure that I call upon Israel to receive the 2020 Larry Heartick Jewish Communal Professional Award.
public speaking is not my strongest. I like to do stuff behind the scene, and I'm not used to hear people talking about me, but thank you so much. So as was mentioned before, my journey working for the Jewish Community Campus started 25 years ago, actually. It was 25 years ago, in May 1997, that I was hired by Mike Kaufman, Zichrono Livracha. I didn't plan to work for the Jewish community. It just happened. I was looking for a job, and campus was about to open, and here I am. As I said, it's been 25 years. Don't regret a moment. The building was not occupied the first day I came to work. I didn't have a job description. Mike was just establishing a team, and he was trying to figure out the details, what's going to happen when everybody shows up. There were some growing pains in the first few years. Learning to share this beautiful campus among all the tenants was not an easy task. New policies have to be established to make sure the facility runs smoothly, efficiently. Room booking, events, cleaning procedure, security duties, to name a few. There was a dilemma or talk in the community of having a sense of security without feeling living in an army base. After all, it was the first time that in the history of the Jewish community that most of the agency were under one roof. My duties as a maintenance department evolved over the years. In 2005, I was promoted to be the maintenance manager, a position I hold until this day. This position combined the responsibility of maintaining the buildings and equipment on one hand, at the same time provide service to the tenants. The diversity of the responsibilities and the challenges are some of the reasons I still enjoy working in this field. Working for the Asper Jewish Community Campus as an extension, the Jewish community came very natural to me. As I mentioned before, I grew up in a kibbutz, and growing up in a kibbutz taught me the importance of being part of the community. In a community, everyone has a role to fill. I take pride in what I do and what we have accomplished at the campus. The buildings serve as the center of the community. Working in the building and being involved in the planning of events at the campus give me first an opportunity to see how the community come together in celebrating Jewish and Israeli life. To conclude, I would like to thank supervisors and co-workers who support me and taught me so much over the years. I've learned the most from Louise Collinger. She's the one who gave me guidance and opportunity to grow and develop in my position. And I can stand here and talk about her and what she gave to this community for a long time. I would also like to acknowledge the family of the late Harry Hansen, who chose to recognize longtime professional individuals who serve the community and give of themselves to better our community. Thank you very much.
כל הכבוד, ישראל, היה זמן. I hope you're all feeling great. We will now continue with the 2020 and 22 Shemptov Awards combined. A Baal Shemtov is one with a good reputation, a person whose qualities and good deeds give them a good name in society, a good name that lives on forever. In 1996, the Jewish Federation established the Shemptov Awards to honor those volunteers who, throughout the years, contributed countless hours of their time to enhance and improve the services provided by our partner agencies. Each recipient will receive a beautiful handcrafted glass sculpture with the recipient's names and the organization's name engraved with the Federation logo and stylized a menorah, which symbolizes our history, heritage, and light for the future. As I call the names of the agencies and its awards recipients, I invite the presenter and honorees to come to the center to the bima. Please remain on stage while I say a few words about the honorees. Please accept my apologies. In order to move this meeting along, I will not be walking back and forth for these awards. I had an immense honor and pleasure of taking a picture with you downstairs. So Mazel Tov to all of you. And as a reminder, as you hear your presenters, as you hear your name and your agency's name, please walk with the honorees to the center of the bima while I produce a little bit of background on who they are. Thank you. I would like to welcome Robin Avery, Executive Director of Aleph Bet Child Life Enrichment Program, who will present the 2020 Shemptov Award to Patrick Mapetak and the 2020 award to Amber Marks in absentia. Patrick Mapetak has been a long-standing volunteer at Aleph Bet Child Life Enrichment Program, assisting with childcare and other duties as the daycare. Patrick is a true people person. He loves to make people laugh, and his infectious smile brightens everybody's day. Mazel Tov, Patrick. Amber Marks has served on the board of directors of Aleph Bet Child Enrichment Program since 2020, and in that time has been a valued contributor to the activities at Aleph Bet. Mazel Tov, Amber. Leah Label, co-chair of Bnei Community Camp, will present the 2020 Shemtov Award to Rebecca Powell and the 2022 award to Anita Wartzman. Rebecca Powell has a long history with BB Camp. Over the course of 16 years, Rebecca attended BB Camp as a camper and then as a staff. In 2015, Rebecca was elected to the volunteer board of directors as a member at large. She joined the executive in 2017 and completed her term as board chair in 2021. She has a special place in her heart for BB Camp. Mazal Tov, Rebecca. Anita Wartzman recently co-chaired a successful campaign to raise over $1.25 million on behalf of BB Camp for the Nature Conservancy of Canada, NCC, to preserve the town island. As part of the Town Island initiative, Anita was able to negotiate and innovate arrangements to govern the stewardship and access of Town Island for BB Camp. Anita, congratulations, thank you, and Mazal Tov. Jackie Werbuck, co-president of Camp Masad, will present the 2020 Shemtov Award to Susie Friedman Tapper and the 2022 award to Yael Wassendorf, who will be accepting on behalf of Marcelo Luboki, Zichrono Livracha, of blessed memory. Susie Freeman Tapper has been deeply involved with the Winnipeg Jewish community and continued that involvement into adulthood as a dedicated Camp Masad board member. Over the span of 10 years, Susie served as a board member, executive board member, and co-president of the board. During that time, she was able to make a positive impact in various areas, which have been and will continue to be a great sense of pride for her. We are still struggling to find where she got that commitment to Jewish community. Mazel Tov. Marcelo Luboki was a humble and passionate man. Marcelo was deeply committed to the Jewish values and the Jewish community. With a strong belief in Masad's ability to make a lasting impact in the life of Jewish children, Marcelo joined the board of directors in 2017. He served as president from 2019 to 2021. Marcelo was a problem solver who led with commitment, a listening ear, and a strong vision for the future and growth of the camp. Yael, thank you for accepting this award. On behalf of the community, we will always remember Marcelo. Dan Seidman from Gwen Sector Creative Living Center will present the 2020 Shemtov Awards to Frida Glow and the 2022 award to Kogi Kogan. Frida Glow has been a member of the One Sector Creative Living Center at Sea Glow Place, named in honor of her late husband. In that time, she has written and mounted Place for Active Seniors, worked for A&O's Senior Center Without Walls, and held weekly sessions for seniors. Mazal tov, Frida. Kogi Kogan is a student at Uwon University College, where they are pursuing a bachelor's degree in globalization studies. Kogi has been a valued contributor at the Wen Sector Creative Living Center, where they have volunteered and worked, helping to run several of their programs. Mazal tov, Kogi. Next, we have the Irma Penn School of Jewish Learning. I will be presenting the 2020 Shemtov Award to Valeria Sanderovich in absentia. Valeria Sanderovich has found great fulfillment in her volunteer work that she has done for the Irma Penn School of Jewish Learning and elsewhere in the community. Mazel tov, Valeria, and thank you for what you do. Presenting on behalf of the Jewish Child and Family Services is Executive Director Al Venarosh, who will present the 2020 Shemtov Award to Danita Dubinsky Aziza and the 2022 award to Sherry Lurcher Davis. I have had an opportunity to work with these amazing community-minded leaders. I succeeded Danita as chair of the community planning of the Federation, and I serve on the board of Jewish Child and Family Services at the gentle invitation and with the greatest support from Sherry. Kol hakavod to both of you. Danita Dubinsky Aziza has been involved in the Winnipeg Jewish community with a variety of capacities since she moved to Winnipeg from Toronto in 2002. In that time, she has been very active in the community. After returning from 4 years living in Israel, she served as an executive member and then president of Jewish Child and Family Services. Danita, Mazal tov, Kol hakavod, and thank you. Sherry Lurcher Davis has been a member of the Jewish Child and Family Services Board of Directors since 2008 and has served as chair of the Revenue Development Committee, co-chair of the 2012 Century of Caring Gala, and chair of the 2018 Community of Caring Gala. Since becoming a member of the executive in 2013, Sherry has held positions as vice president, board president, and is currently past president. Sherry, Mazal tov. I will present the 2020 and 22 Shemtov Awards on behalf of the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg. As chair of the board, I wish to recognize Howard Kidekel in absentia and Elaine Margulis. Howard Kidekel has held many volunteer positions in our community and has become a dedicated member of the planning committee of the Federation. He continues to be active at Federation and strongly believes in the importance of being actively involved in the Jewish community. Moreover, I served with Howard a lifetime ago as part of the MAC, Multiple Appeals Commission, where I got to appreciate his amazing qualities and personality. Howard, we will meet soon. Mazal tov. I'm sorry to keep you waiting. Elaine Margulis has been a valued contributor at Federation. She believes that the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg is the heartbeat of our Jewish community and is proud to be a Lion of Judah, having volunteered for many years as part of the Women's Philanthropy Division of the Combined Jewish Appeal. Elaine, Mazal tov. Mark Cantor, president of the Jewish Heritage Center of Western Canada, will present the 2020 and 2022 Shemtov Awards to Isaac Gottfried and Edith Kimmelman. Isaac Gottfried has shared the difficult story of his experiences during the Holocaust for more than 25 years and shared it with approximately 20,000 students. Of his parents and 4 siblings, he and his brother were the only family members to survive Shoah. In addition to his many presentations to students in the Holocaust Education Center, he published his memoir, Lucky to Survive, at the age of 92 with great acclaim. Mazal Tov, Isaac. Edith Kimmelman, a Holocaust survivor, has imparted upon students the value of freedom and the consequences of war and hatred, and to inspire the resilience of surviving impossible conditions and achieving a better life. In addition to generously sharing her story with students and adults for many years through her presentations in the Holocaust Education Center, she was a keynote speaker for the Center's 2020 Holocaust and Human Rights Symposium. Edith, thank you for sharing your story, for your dedication. Mazel Tov. Gina Sapochnik, president of the Rose and Max Rady Jewish Community Center, will present the 2020 and 2022 Shemptov Awards to Phyllis Leibman in absentia and Lindsay Sawyer Fay. Phyllis Leibman started her volunteer career with the Winnipeg Jewish Theater, where she continued to volunteer, sat on the board and the Artistic Advisory Committee with her late husband, and managed the box office for 13 years. She has also volunteered for over 10 years at the High Folk Ensemble Costume Department. In 2001, Phyllis became a volunteer for cultural programming at the Rose and Max Rady Jewish Community Center. Lindsay Sawyer Fay has been a member of the Rady JCC Board of Directors since 2014. She has served at the Marketing Membership Fitness Finance Committee prior to serving as the 2019-2020 chair. Prior to joining the Rady JCC Board, Lindsay has been an active member of the Jewish community, spending her time as the theater board member, yard volunteer, and chair. She's also a past recipient of the Harry Silverberg Young Leader of Distinction Award. Mazel Tov, Lindsay. Charles Tax, president of Shalom Residence, Inc., will present the 2020 and 2022 Shemtov Awards to Marshall Brownstein in absentia and Sean Cates. Marshall Brownstein has been a board member of Shalom Residences for many years and served as president from 1999 to 2001 and is a member of its board of governors. He was also a board member of Adas Yeshrun Herzliya Synagogue for many years and served as its president from 1997 to 1999. Mazel Tov, Marshall. Sean Cates joined Shalom Residence Board of Directors in 2019 and joined the Management Committee in 2010 as its secretary. In 2013, he became the vice president, and from 2017 to 2019 was the president of the board. From 2019 to the present, Sean has continued on the Management Committee and served as past president. He recently took on a leadership role on the hiring committee seeking a new executive director. Mazel tov, Sean. Jerry Kaplan, chair of the board at the Saul and Claribel Simkin Center, will present the 2020 and 2022 Shemptov Awards to Brenda Greenberg and Selma Gilfix. Brenda Greenberg has been a volunteer for several organizations in the Jewish and general communities. She started volunteering in several capacities at the Saul and Claribel Simkin Center 11 years ago, when the center needed volunteers for an adult day program, which today is a weekly commitment for her. She started in 2014 and has been a dedicated volunteer ever since. Mazal tov, Brenda. Selma Gilfix has been involved with the Simkin Center for more than 2 decades after she began visiting her mother and father at the center and became immediately acquainted with the center's day-to-day operation. Becoming a volunteer was inevitable. She has been a member of the High Holidays Choir since 2000 and has asked to become a member of the board in 2012, leading and being on many Simkin board committees. In 2019, Selma became chair of the Simkin Center board and currently serves as immediate past chair. Mazal tov, Selma. Brian Borsiskowski, president of the Winnipeg Board of Jewish Education, will present the 2020 and 2022 Shemptov Awards to Evan Reutenberg and Sean Shore in absentia. Evan Reutenberg sat on the board of the Winnipeg Board of Jewish Education for nearly a decade, serving on several committees throughout. He also served on the executive as both secretary and vice president. In addition, Evan has sat on the boards of Camp Masad and the YMHA Rady JCC, and currently serves as honorary counsel to Bnei B'rith Camp. Mazal tov, Evan. Sean Shore is the current past president of the Winnipeg Board of Jewish Education. He joined in 2020 and served on numerous committees and primarily focused on both the finance and governance portfolio. Prior to that, Sean was a member of the board of directors of Jewish Child and Family Services, serving from 1997 to 2010 when he completed his term as president. Mazel tov, Sean. I would like to wish a Mazel Tov and Yesher Koach to all of our 2020 and 2022 Shemtov recipients. Let's give them all a round of applause. Our program will now continue with award presentations to our 2022 major awards. Thank you all for staying with us, celebrating the amazing leadership of the individuals that are soon to be introduced. The 2022 Larry Heartick Jewish Communal Professional Award will be presented by Larry's sons, Jack Heartick, to the 2022 recipient, Robin Avery.
I am pleased to present the 2022 Larry Heartick Communal Professional Award to another deserving individual in our community who has demonstrated vision, leadership, professionalism, and served as role model to those who surround her. It is with great pleasure that I introduce to you Robin Avery, Executive Director of Aleph Bet Child Life Enrichment Program. Robin has worked for Aleph Bet for 21 years and has been the Executive Director since 2001. In that time, Robin has displayed great commitment and passion in her role and strives to ensure that Aleph Bet provides a safe, stimulating, and nurturing learning environment for all of the children in her care. Under Robin's leadership, Aleph Bet has grown and flourished. Some of the milestones reached have been the relocation from 123 Nathanson to its current location on Sinclair, and the opening of 2 satellite before and after school care locations at Margaret Park and Forest Park schools. Robin also oversaw the creation of the Green Garden Getaway, a nature-oriented play space for the center's children. Robin is described by her staff as knowledgeable about early childhood education and the issues currently facing this sector in our province. Robin has been a consistent voice of equality and competitive wages. In addition, Robin has been a strong advocate for children with special needs, including hiring staff with specialized training, ensuring that Aleph Bet is a place where all children can flourish. Robin is a strong believer in empowering her staff, encouraging education and professional development, which has resulted in several staff members going on to further their careers in related fields. Robin has long-standing loyal volunteers working each day at the center because she makes them feel welcome and never takes their valuable work for granted. We are delighted to present this award to Robin, an individual who has demonstrated strong leadership and vision and continues to lead by example. It is with great pleasure I call upon Robin to receive the 2002 Larry Heartick Jewish Communal Professional Award.
I was just told I have 20 minutes. Just joking. Well, good evening, everyone. I can't believe I'm standing here staring at you all. Israel, you thought this was hard? This is way harder for me. I'm extremely honored to be receiving the Larry Heartick Jewish Communal Professional Award. This award has extra special meaning to me as when we moved into the Old Beth Israel Synagogue, and Larry actually provided me with some advice and support early on in my career at Aleph Bet. So he had some good advice. We moved into the building. We now own the building. So I thank him and I thank his family for giving me this award. I'm extremely grateful for the recognition I've received in the community, and when I sit back and when I got the phone call about this award, I was like, what do I do? I go to work every day. I was just honored, and so very honored to be placed in such distinguished ranks as those of past honorees, all of whom are great leaders and have made very important contributions to the Jewish community. Having been with Aleph Bet for many years, I've spent many Kavod evenings and listened to the speeches of different past award recipients year after year. It always made me think, every time I left here, how can I find extra time in my already busy schedule to achieve some of these accomplishments and to give back to the community and be more involved? So again, when I received the call, I was just shocked, and thank goodness I was sitting down. And I actually thought, when Joel called me, I thought he was calling, to talk about volunteering at Aleph Bet, but then he told me I've been nominated. Over the years, every time when I leave these awards, I think about, what can I do? So after getting the call, I sat back and I'm like, what do I do? Well, I've been at Aleph Bet for actually 26 years and been in this position for 21. And we provide employment. We've provided employment for many newcomers on many initiatives. When lots of people arrive from different communities, we've provided employment. We've provided volunteer opportunities for people of all ages and abilities. And we have been given the opportunity to make a difference in children's lives. I wish I counted every time I met a new child over all these years. At Aleph Bet, we educate children to value diversity, to appreciate all cultures, and to understand the importance of becoming global citizens. Most importantly, We provide children and families of diverse backgrounds the understanding of the Jewish heritage and culture. And this is called work, but I love it. And I don't know if I could ever be away permanently from this. You get such reward seeing these children come in every day and what they've become, and how many children come back and volunteer through school and then become employed at the center as childcare staff. A very special thank you to the selection committee for choosing me, and an enormous salute to the 2020 and the 2022 year's nominees, each of whom made incredible contributions to the Jewish community. I'm so grateful to my colleagues. I still don't even know who nominated me initially. My colleagues at the daycare, and of course, thank you to my extended family and my friends, and always supporting me, and the ones who could be here today. This award isn't just me. I could never do this without my family, my friends, and my colleagues. I'm grateful to my parents for providing me a strong work ethic, though some of my friends and family would say it's too strong, and always being there to teach me and to teach me to be there for others. And to my incredible family, my children Danica, who's watching, so excited, my son Nathan, who's here, and my husband Don. I share this with you. You have tolerated my crazy work schedules as I try to balance daycare and my passion for health and wellness as I crazily opened a fitness facility in the beginning of COVID. Dawn, you are the one who, though tired from work, filled in when I couldn't be there, volunteered your time at Aleppo just to save a few pennies, and never made me feel guilty for being away. You've given me the courage to believe in my dreams, never saying no, even though I didn't give you that option. You're my cheerleader and my supporter. Before I sit down to get one step closer to my piece of schmootor, I want to leave you with one last note. It is so important that we continue to instill the true meaning of kavod at an early age. As stated earlier, kavod, the Hebrew word for honor and respect. These are the traits we want to instill in our children's lives and what we interweave throughout all aspects of Aleph Bet. Thank you all so much, and thank you.
Kol hakavod and Mazel Tov, Robin. Thank you. This year, we are pleased to announce the inaugural Duba Family Youth Award, recognizing an individual who has demonstrated outstanding service and leadership in support of the activities of the Jewish community and who shows potential for future leadership between the ages of 16 and 24. I recently gave a talk at a leadership class at Gray Academy to students early on in this demographic. I was filled with pride when I promoted and made reference to the generosity and the leadership displayed over the years by Carol and Neil Duboff. I challenge our students and the next generation to envision their volunteer careers within our Jewish community. I ask them to go home and tell their parents and older siblings to consider applying. Why? Because Neil has had a tremendous influence on my leadership style, and I would like to invite Neil Duboff at this time to present the Duba Family Youth Award to Emily Kalo. Neil and Carol, thank you.
Good evening to those being honored this evening, their guests, and each of you here tonight.
It's wonderful to be here tonight. After 2 years of being apart, by becoming a highly vaccinated community, we've really earned our way back to gathering in person.
Our community and our family recognize that it is our youth who will be the leaders of tomorrow. It is the youth who will carry our values forward. Many young people are anxious about the scale of challenges that our community and the world will face in the years ahead. The climate is getting warmer. There have been unprecedented storms, and the global fabric of friendship and peace is being torn by new conflicts, like that which Russia has launched in Ukraine.
While these challenges are really great, the enormous talent from our young generation holds the potential to take on and address these obstacles. In the words of the late President of India, who was also an aerospace scientist, Dr. Abdul Kalam, our young people must have the courage to think differently, the courage to invent, to travel the unexplored path, discover the impossible, conquer their problems, and through all this, the courage to succeed. Our community and our family believe in the youth of today, which is why we put in place this award to recognize and celebrate a young person in our community who has shown their leadership, volunteerism, and contributions.
For all the nominees for this award, your achievements have taken commitment, self-belief, creativity, and hard work, long nights, early mornings, time away from friends and family, which you dedicated to make the world a better place. Emily Kalo faced these challenges and continues to actively engage and lead. Emily is an internationally ranked public speaker. Emily has been very active in the Jewish community, the general community, and on campus at the University of Manitoba. To highlight just a few of Emily's accomplishments, she co-founded Students Supporting Israel at the University of Manitoba in 2019. She has been very involved in Stand With Us. Emily is currently serving as the Vice President of Advocacy at the University of Manitoba Students' Union, which represents more than 26,000 undergraduate students. In this role, she works to ensure that the U of M is a safe space for all students. Emily initiated and presented the motion to have the University of Manitoba Students' Union pass the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition of anti-Semitism, making it the first IHRA resolution passed in Manitoba and only the 8th in North America. Emily is a member of the Public Affairs and Advocacy Committee of the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg. Sorry.
But it doesn't stop there. Emily has been involved with various organizations in the general community as well, such as the Canadian Blood Services, where she organized donation events. She helped raise close to $100,000 for youth experiencing homelessness in Manitoba. She was a Shinorama volunteer coordinator from 2018 to 2020, where she raised $50,000 to support Canadians living with cystic fibrosis. These are just a few of Emily's extensive and varied involvements in our community, which you can read about in the program. She has already displayed great leadership, skills, and we look forward to seeing her continue her work and grow in her leadership role. Mazel tov, Emily.
Good evening, everyone. I am extremely grateful to have been selected as the first recipient of the Duba Family Youth Award. To have my work in the community recognized in this way by the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg and the Duba family is an absolute honor. Not only because it's work that I'm passionate about, but because it signifies how the work that we all do in the community resonates and impacts others. It's a privilege to be here celebrating not only the present, but also the future of our local Jewish community. This accomplishment is not one that I could have done alone. There are many others who deserve to share in this award. Firstly, I would like to thank the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg for their constant support and their unwavering dedication to the Winnipeg Jewish community. I would also like to thank the Grey Academy of Jewish Education for laying a foundation of education and curiosity in me, as well as Stand With Us Canada and Students Supporting Israel for giving me the tools and the voice that I needed. Without the emotional and educational support of these organizations, I would not have known where to start. Your expertise, patience, and work ethic provided me with the opportunity to ask the tough questions and to spark new ideas. Thank you to Chanel Jacobs, Rebecca Katzman, Louisa Raisman, Avi Posen, and Sherry Wolf Elazar for the guidance that gave me the confidence to try, and also to my dear friend Darius Hunter, may his memory be a blessing, for helping me understand that I can embrace all parts of my identity. Kavod Evening is an event that I have always held dear. Hearing about the dedication and commitment so many of my fellow recipients have made to our community provides me with immense hope for the future. But this evening also reminds me of the impact of the past. To my great-grandparents, Max and Molly Shore, whose legacy lives on through Kavod Evening, thank you for creating a community where others such as myself could grow and thrive as strong Jewish youth. Moreover, thank you for the beautiful and supportive family that you gave me. To my Baba and Zeta, Charles and Fanny Shore, and to my mother, Daphne Shore, and the rest of my incredible family, thank you for your endless love and unwavering support. I would not be the person I am today without you, and I definitely would not be standing up here. You've given me the courage to try, and more importantly, the tenacity to fail and then get back up. Lastly, but certainly not least, I would like to thank the Duba family for elevating young adults who are asking questions and engaging in dialogue while also just beginning to figure out who they are. The gravity of this recognition is not lost on me and will last far beyond tonight. I will continue my efforts to strengthen the Winnipeg Jewish community and more specifically to explore the importance of intersectionality within Winnipeg and Manitoba at large. I'm more passionate right now than ever before about fighting for cultural, religious, and social continuity for the Jewish community, and I'm absolutely humbled and appreciative, so thank you all.
This was remarkable. Thank you. Congratulations. I would like to invite Jessica Kogan to please come forward to present the Max Nathanson Young Leadership Award to this year's winner, Ari Hansen.
Good evening. As Gustavo said, my name is Jessica Kogan, and I am the chair of Israel and Overseas at the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg. I think I can take this off. It is my honor to present the Max Nathanson Young Leadership Award this evening, named after the late Max Nathanson, who was an outstanding community leader. The award was established by his family after his passing to encourage the development of young leaders in our community. It is with great pleasure that I introduce to you Ari Hansen, the 2022 recipient of the Max Nathanson Young Leadership Award. Ari is a long-term member of the Board of Directors of the Jewish Child and Family Service and currently serves as the agency's president after having served on the executive for a number of years. Ari has provided invaluable strategic leadership to Jewish Child and Family Service, JCFS, throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, during which time Jewish Child and Family Service provided essential services to the entire community. Jewish Child and Family Service has thrived under Ari's presidency, which is a remarkable accomplishment given the many challenges presented by the pandemic. He has a long-standing association with JCFS and the Winnipeg Jewish community dating back 2 decades, so apparently straight out of the cradle. He initially connected with JCFS when he became a volunteer while a student. After graduating from university and beginning his law practice, Ari joined the board of JCFS in 2013. His dedication to the agency and valued participation in board matters over the years is reflected in Ari advancing to leadership roles as a member of the executive, becoming vice president in 2018, and board president in 2020. Ari's strong leadership skills, his steady and balanced approach to problem solving, and his openness to collaboration have served the board well and set an excellent example for future leaders. Ari is exceptionally young to be the president of one of the Federation's largest beneficiary agencies. Yet, at only 34 years old, Ari exemplifies the commitment, dedication, and skills that are so valuable to our community, making him the ideal recipient for this award. It is my great pleasure to call upon Ari Hansen, the deserving recipient of the 2022 Max Nathanson Young Leadership Award.
Thanks very much, Jessica. When I was first told that I'd been selected as this year's recipient of the Max Nathanson Award, I'll be the first to admit that I was actually a bit surprised. As the news hit me and I looked back over the names and accomplishments of all the awards' past winners, I became very humbled, honored, and thankful. The volunteering and lay leadership that got me here all came through Jewish Child and Family Service, a community organization that's been near and dear to me since right back to grade 11. I still remember sitting in Mr. Goldstein's class at JWC one afternoon when a couple of workers from JCFS came in to explain the agency's older adult services program and asked that any students who had driver's licenses already volunteer to visit seniors and take them out grocery shopping. Right away, my 16-year-old self thought this was an excellent opportunity because A, having been born into a family of car buffs and with my own freshly minted driver's license in hand, I thought this was a great excuse to borrow my parents' car more often. And B, much, much more importantly, thinking about how much time I had gotten to spend with my own grandparents up to that point in time and to now, it came as a shock to me that there were Jewish seniors in our community who weren't as fortunate to have had that connection with their elders that I had. I'd like to thank my grandparents, Norma and Yudi Schachter, who are with us by Zoom tonight, thanks to Federation for the live stream, along with my mom and dad, Shelley and Hugh, and my partner, Jillian, for always supporting me in life and all of my volunteering activities. The very first volunteer position that I had at JCFS ended up leading to me staying on as a regular grocery shopper for 2 different older adult clients for upwards of 10 years. Later on, I got summer university positions with the agency as a case aide, serving dozens more seniors in the same capacity. Those experiences working with our seniors have helped me better understand the community's needs as a lay leader and even helped me with my career as a professional in providing me with the crash course on how to deal with clients. You would never believe how much great legal advocacy that is that I witnessed at the customer service desk at Superstore all those years. On finishing law school and passing the bar in 2013, my work with JCFS then led to a position on their finance committee and ultimately the board of directors, and then being offered the positions of vice president and eventually president over the past 4 years. I'd like to thank all of the JCFS staff and board members I've worked with over the years for all the really helpful advice and support that they've given me along the way, particularly, but not at all limited to, Cheryl Hirsch-Cates, Emily Shane, Al Benarosh, Sherry Lurcher-Davis, Al Speller, and Aaron Grusko. Strengthening lives in keeping with Jewish values. That's JCFS's mission statement, but I think in many ways it's the ultimate goal of all of the lay leaders that you've seen on the podium tonight and the organizations that they all represent. I'd like to thank the Federation as a whole, Gustavo and Elaine in particular, and all of the generous donors who support the Federation for giving agencies like JCFS the opportunity to do their important work. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Ari. Congratulations and Mazal Tov. I would like to invite Kerry Schenkaro to present this year's Harry Silverberg Young Leader of Distinction Award to Ellie Silver.
Good evening. My name is Carrie Shankrow, and it is my privilege to present the 2022 Harry Silverberg Young Leader of Distinction Award. It is with great pleasure that I introduce you to Ellie Silver, the 2022 recipient of this award. The award recognizes an individual between 25 and 45 who has demonstrated outstanding service and leadership in support of the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg. I cannot think of a more deserving recipient this year than Ellie. Ellie has served on many committees over the years, including Women's Philanthropy, Allocations, the CGA, as well as being a Federation board member and member of the Jewish Federations of North America National Young Leadership Cabinet. She is currently the Federation's finance chair, and I have the exciting privilege of working closely with her this year as she has taken on the role of top donor co-chair with her husband, Michael. Ellie's resume is extensive, but what I would like to speak to is Ellie's passion, belief, and commitment to her work in the Jewish community. It is a true asset to have Ellie on our team. She has the courage to dive into the details, devoting her time, insight, and intellect into bettering our causes. Ellie is forthright, kind, and a joy to work with. It is my pleasure to call up Ellie Silver, the worthy recipient of the 2022 Harry Silverberg Young Leadership of Distinction Award.
Thank you, Carrie, Gustavo. The past 3 years have been the most difficult years of my life. Michael, Naomi, Ben, and Max, I couldn't have gotten through it without you. Rita, Shane, Mara, Norm, and Heather, you have all given us such phenomenal support. I'm so grateful we can always count on you. Most of all, I want to thank the staff and lay leadership of the Federation. You've given me the opportunity to give back to the community in a capacity that I had never thought possible. You've also given me an outlet to focus my time and energy at a time in my life that I needed the distraction. I'm deeply grateful for this award and truly touched. Thank you.
Congratulations, Ellie. I have the pleasure of serving with Ari on the Board of Directors of Jewish Child and Family Services and with Ellie on the Board of Directors of the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg. You are both incredibly worthy recipients of these awards. Mazal Tov. And the next round of applause that I'd like to ask for, it goes to Carrie. I want to wish you Isher Koach, and may you go from strength to strength as you lead our community as our campaign chair in the most important, loyal service, making sure that we can all raise the funds needed to ensure a connected, secure Jewish life for all. So, Carrie, thank you for taking on that role. This round of applause is for you in anticipation of reaching our goal. The recipient of the Max and Molly Shore Memorial Award of 2022 is Paula Parks. Paula is a current member of the Board of Jewish Federation of Winnipeg. When I called Paula to share the good news and to ask her to accept this award, I was struck by her reaction. Her humility, her surprise, her demeanor made me realize the kind of person she is and the qualities she brings to every volunteer position she's ever held in our community. Here once again to present are the great-granddaughters, Stephanie and Emily Kalo.
The Maximally Shore Award was created to acknowledge individuals who distinguish themselves through long-standing community leadership and an unwavering commitment to the principles and goals of the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg. This year's recipient does just that. It is with great pleasure that Emily and I award Paula Parks as the 2022 recipient of the Maximally Shore Award.
Paula has been a volunteer for the Combined Jewish Appeal since her teenage years. In 2016, when she was appointed as co-chair of Women's Philanthropy, where she has been instrumental in developing, motivating, and empowering a team of women that continues to work together for the betterment of the community and has only grown in numbers as the years go by. Paula is always there to support her team, provide advice about canvassing, event organization, and makes everybody feel included. Under her leadership, Women's Philanthropy has consistently exceeded its financial goals. Her ability to connect and build relationships has been a true asset to the team and their fundraising activity. Paula actively participates in the Federation's telethons and Women's Philanthropy telethons. She canvasses a large number of donors and is an enthusiastic canvasser for the Federation's PJ Library campaign. Paula has been a part of the Allocations Committee since 2016 and represents Women's Philanthropy at the Jewish Federation Board.
In her professional life, Paula has worked as a research technician in the Department of Plant Science in the Faculty of Agriculture and Food Sciences since graduating from the University of Manitoba. She especially enjoys working with the new graduate students, visiting academics, and the researchers. Paula has an extensive volunteer activity in the Jewish community. She was part of the planning committee for the Asper Jewish Community Campus, a founding committee member of the Women's Endowment Fund at the Jewish Foundation, and co-chaired the 21st World Conference of LGBT Jews in Winnipeg in 2013. In 1989, Paula received the prestigious Harry Silverberg Young Leader of Distinction Award. She has left a bequest to the Jewish Foundation of Manitoba and participated in the Endowment Book of Life program.
Paula believes in making our community vibrant, available, and affordable for all who wish to take part. And her extensive, positive, and lasting contributions to our community have done much to realize that. It's our absolute pleasure to call upon Paula Parks, the 2022 recipient of the Max and Molly Shore Memorial Award.
I just told Emily she should get my award. Good evening. Thanks so very much for the award. Thank you to the whole Shore family. It's a privilege and an honor to join the group of previous recipients. And congratulations to all of this evening's award winners. As is the same for many of you, I wear various hats in the different aspects of my life, but besides the same head, these hats seem to have a similar connection, finding solutions and trying to assist others. Wearing my day-to-day hat, as you've heard, I'm a research technician at the University of Manitoba, and as support staff, I am there to ensure that people in our program have the tools that they need to complete their research. As you've also heard, in my years as international technical official in the sport of field hockey, I've been fortunate to travel to tournaments in wonderful destinations. While wearing that tournament director hat, sometimes literally, I work with national teams to ensure that they have what they need to compete at their very best, finding solutions to all sorts of issues that can arise at an event. And then there's the hat that I wear as a longtime volunteer within our Jewish community. For many years, I have participated as a committee member, a board member, and as a canvasser. In these various capacities, I've tried to both raise funds for efforts in our community, as well as take part in deliberations and decision-making as to the policies and solutions in distributing and spending the funds in the best way possible. I've enjoyed wearing all of these hats and hope that through these various activities, some paid, mostly unpaid, I have helped others. I would like to thank the many volunteers that I've worked with through the years, most recently the co-chairs and the committee members of Federation's Women's Philanthropy. Thanks to the many Jewish professionals that I've been fortunate to work with, including those at Rady JCC, the Jewish Foundation, and of course the Jewish Federation. Most recently, Elaine Goldstein, Rebecca Brask, and Graciela Nathanson. I would like to thank my supportive friends and family who are here tonight, including my brother Louis, my nephew Andrew, who are here from Connecticut to help celebrate this evening. As I continue to my last tribute, I have to thank my mother for that wonderful verklempt gene that she passed along, which may or may not make an appearance in these last few moments. My parents were both very involved in the Jewish community and were longtime campaign volunteers for Federation. My mother was co-chair of CJA's Women's Division. I have followed in her footsteps and have been co-chair of Women's Philanthropy for the last few years. And I have wonderful memories of my dad, co-chair of the then YMHA division, on the phone with his CJA cards, a phone in one hand and a clenched fist in the other hand, ensuring that everyone he called gave their fair share, whether they liked it or not. I'm here because of them, and I hope to continue working in our community also because of them. Thank you so much again for this wonderful honor. Good night.
Thank you, Paula, and congratulations. As chair of the board, I'm deeply concerned about proper governance and corporate directorship. I am not only able to call on members of our board of governors, our past presidents, for their opinion. I recently called Steve for a meeting to discuss his views on the future of our community, issues of concerns to him and others, and to specifically ask him to sit on the national board of CJA, Canada-Israel Jewish Advocacy. I have firsthand experience seeing Steve in action, representing our community and reflecting on the great contributions that our community members had at our local, national, and international levels. This is what I've learned over the years. People in business, people from the government, and specifically elected officials, members of our community, have explained to me that when Stephen Croft talks, we listen. Steve, I look forward to learning from you, to working with you, and supporting you in your current role as a National CJA Vice Chair. I am pleased to now call upon Marsha Cowan to present the Caney Distinguished Community Service Medal to Steve Croft, the 2022 recipient.
Good evening, everyone. It is my honor, my privilege, to present Steve Croft with the Saul Caney Distinguished Community Service Medal. I never knew Mr. Caney personally, but I did have the pleasure of working with his son Stephen, daughter-in-law Marianne, as they carried on his incredible legacy to our community through their family foundation. Mr. Caney was a devoted community member, distinguished, a statesman. And how excellent is it for us tonight that we can honor the statesman of our time, Steve Croft. I'm not going to talk about all of Steve's phenomenal accomplishments. The list is long, myriads of boards he has sat on. But I'd like to talk about Steve the person. What is it about Steve that makes it so special that somebody like him could devote so much time to a volunteer career? After all, are you not busy enough, Steve? A devoted son, husband to Lisa, father to Alex and Nathan, a successful and busy business person. But yet, you have some qualities that allow you to incorporate into your life giving back to the world that we live in. I first crossed paths with Steve in the volunteer sector when he came onto the scholarship committee at the Jewish Foundation. Steve, I think, were you 20-something? Definitely not very old. And I remember wondering to myself, what is it that somebody at your young age, having so much on your plate, would want to give to the community in this manner? Of course, we all know you went on to be on the board, to be president, ultimately becoming my boss. This is when I saw Steve Croft in action. He never missed a beat. When Steve was with us, we knew that we got his undivided attention. You were busy, on a plane, off a plane, didn't matter. When Steve was in our office, we got his attention. No issue was too large, too small, too insignificant. We knew we were special. I suspect that everybody who works with you, Steve, knows that they're special. And that's great. But for us, our moment was having you there and having all the attention that you gave every single detail. Well, eventually, as my boss, it was time for you to do my review. And once again, we got the best of Steve Croft. What I got was a beautiful piece of paper on your personal stationery, written out in such detail, with addressing all of the issues, understanding of what the items were that were at hand at the time. I remember thinking to myself, my goodness me, how much time did this take you? I thought I owed you one. Well, one never knows, because this is my moment tonight. It is my turn to do your review. So, as a former teacher, I know what it is to give an A, and this would never be enough. A+, still not enough. Double plus, you are off the charts. They say that volunteerism is the most honorable profession, and we are delighted to be able to honor you tonight with this award. Steve.
Those remarks make me feel like I'm super old, and I'm hanging up my skates. I'll tell you how old I am. 42 years ago today, I read from the Torah at my bar mitzvah from right here. So you can do the math. Marcia, thank you for that very generous and warm introduction. We made a great team, and I learned a lot from you. during that time, and I just want to thank you. Firstly, I want to thank the Federation and the Selection Committee for this wonderful honor. To be added to the distinguished list of Caney Medal recipients, comprised of so many leaders that I've learned from over the years, including, incidentally, my cousin, my Uncle Guy, and my dad, Richard, who's here with us tonight, along with my mom and my wife, Lisa, and my boys, is truly humbling. The fact that the Croft-Caney relationship has meant so much to my family makes this especially meaningful. Let me start by congratulating and thanking all of the other award recipients whose contributions have enriched the lives of so many of us in our community. I would like to make special note of my dear friend and colleague, Marcelo Lubacki. Yael, Marcelo was a wonderful person and an inspiration to so many, including myself. I really miss him a lot, and I'm so proud to be honored this evening alongside him. It's to all of our outstanding community volunteers and leaders to whom I wish to address my brief remarks this evening, and it's similar to what Gustavo talked about at the beginning of this evening, and it really comes in the form of an ask. You've all demonstrated your ability to lead, and through your actions, the organizations you represent are doing great things. My ask of you is to take those skills and that energy and to apply them more broadly in the general community. Now, I would never suggest that anyone cut back their support of the Jewish community. However, nor should we ever feel that there is a boundary around us. While most of us here this evening are Jewish, we are also Winnipeggers, Manitobans, and Canadians. I have served in many capacities in the Jewish community and cherish all those experiences. They've been important in my development as a person and as a leader. I've been blessed to work with incredible organizations and through them have built deep friendships within the Jewish community. But my engagement in and commitment to the general community, a community that has blessed me with incredible colleagues in business, allowed me to serve to make our healthcare and arts organizations stronger, and has given me the opportunity to meet, learn from, and develop special relationships with incredible, generous, and caring people who are not Jewish, has been equally fulfilling and important to me. But there's another compelling reason for having members of our Jewish community engage more broadly, and it's something that Gustavo referred to. Anti-Semitism stems from a lack of understanding and familiarity. As Jews, when we engage in general community activities, whether that be in the arts, politics, healthcare, or for-profit enterprise, we bring with us not only an important perspective because of who we are and the values we inherently have as Jews, but we demonstrate that we are similarly passionate about our city, our province, and our country, and all the people who call this home, regardless of race or religion. And in so doing, we contribute to tearing down any antiquated and harmful divisions that may still exist. And frankly, as Jews, we too can learn from those of other backgrounds. When we feel attacked as a Jewish community, our first instinct is to band together as Jews. It's both natural and comforting. But I can tell you that when a story appears in the press about an anti-Semitic act, it's almost always my non-Jewish friends who reach out to me first. Why? Because in part through me, they've gained an appreciation for who we are as a community, the contributions we make to society, and how hurtful such acts must be to us and our families. I like to think that such caring and compassion has come at least in part from the fact that I've shown up for them and served with them. And exemplified this more than Saul Caney. As president of the Canadian Jewish Congress and chair of the World Jewish Congress, Saul reached the upper echelons of Jewish leadership on an international scale. But his ability to effect change through influence was in large part because he brought people together, all kinds of people, leveraging the trusting relationships he built through his work as a member of the board of the Bank of Canada, as a key player in the formation of the United Way, and as an active board member of the Royal Winnipeg Ballet, just to name a few. Saul Caney set an example for all of us. I'm fortunate to have had the opportunity to sit and talk with Saul on various occasions, right up until he died 15 years ago. Just the two of us. And what I've asked all of you to consider is exactly what he asked of me in one form or another during each of those visits. And that was to engage and not to be scared to take on big challenges wherever they exist. I remember him saying distinctly, "There's lots of work to do, now go help get it done." This award is so meaningful because it serves as affirmation, for me at least, that I haven't let Saul down. Thank you.
Yisher Koach, Steve. May you go from strength to strength. May we all continue to benefit from your thoughts, your words, your leadership. Mazal Tov. To conclude this evening, somehow I got the feeling that that's probably one of your favorite lines. I would like to extend a special thank you to the staff at the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg, and I ask you to promptly, please, come to the front so that we get ready to recognize you with a huge round of applause. So please don't delay and join us at the front. All of our staff, and I'm going to ask you, Elaine, to stand up as well. And I'm inviting all of our staff from Jewish Federation to come up front. As you come to the Vima, Elaine, a few words to you. In our newly formed partnership between President and CEO, I wish to thank you, Elaine, for your leadership, for the efforts and dedication that you bring on behalf of the entire community and outside the Jewish community, here in Manitoba, across Canada, and in Israel, leading this amazing team of volunteers and staff as they step most of the time outside of their job descriptions, and for sure outside working hours, to get events like today to run as smoothly as they have. So once again, to all of you, our staff of Federation, on behalf of the Board of Directors, the Board of Governors, the entire community, and all of us in attendance, our recognition for stepping up plentifully since the pandemic started, and doing it from your cars, from your laptops at home, or from the office. This round of applause is a sincere appreciation for everything you do. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank, please stay, I'd like to thank the congregation Shaarei Tzedek and their staff for having worked with us this evening, for making sure that this event was possible. I'd like to once again thank and recognize RBC, Royal Bank of Canada, and their volunteers for joining us this evening. This ends the formal portion of the program. And here's the only request. And maybe I took a page of Steve's speech. I'm learning. Here's my ask of you. Immediately, make room for our youth. Make sure that no matter what organization within and outside the Jewish community you're part of, look for young people to learn from you, enable them, empower them, look for opportunities so that they can shine the way that all of you and our ancestors have shined, leading the way for all of us. So Am Israel Chai, our community in great hands. Congratulations to all of the award recipients tonight. Please join us for dessert. stay safe, and we'll see you at campaign time